So, good afternoon. Welcome back to another show. And this is my second one of the day. The first one I had Kev earlier on, talking about Newcastle United and Dwight Gale. And now I've got on a Tottenham Hotspur fan named Luke. And for he's from the rivalry is Side TV. Sounds a great lad. And good afternoon to you, Luke.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome at any time, my friend, anytime. And if you've got any questions for Luke regarding Tottenham, please feel free. And if you like any other channels, please, if you smash the likes up and also subscribe if you are new, and also leave your comments and sections down below, exactly what Layla has done. And they're going to talk about all things Spurs, your season, Jose, Levy, and the ambitions for the club, and Harry Keane's future, and Gareth Bale's success. And yeah, I mean, things to squeeze in as much as we can. And I got Layla. I think she's either a Fulham fan or a Newcastle fan. I could be wrong. And her question is Son fit? And also, that front four scares him. Mora, Keane, Son, and Bell.
So, to answer your question about Son, we still don't really know. I think he may be available for the bench, but I think it would be too soon to get him back. I don't think he travelled, he obviously didn't travel anywhere for internationals or anything like that. So I think he might be still on the bench. So It's looking about tweaking that front four to see how we can work around it, basically.
Yeah, I mean, for our point of view, Obi doesn't, fingers are I'm not going to come in and say Obi doesn't play because the fact is sort of maybe disrespectful, but things at the end of the day, whether he plays or not, we're still not going to beat you anyway. But, but he's a decent player. I do love him. I think he's a world-class striker at him. For me, I think he's better. He's the best at the club, if I'm honest with you. So I know people say Kane is, but for me, definitely Son is up there, the very, very best. I got Kev here, just joined us earlier on, and I got Dwight Gale Hatlick. Good luck. I got Newcastle Spurs combined 11. Layla, if you want to do a combined 11 yet, you carry on. Let us know a little bit later on. So I want to talk about your season at the minute. Spurs. Listen, you were top of the table for a couple of months ago, and then you kind of slipped down the table for some reason. And what I don't understand is what's going on. I mean, is Horsey trying to be too defensive for the club, or is he for the team? Is Gareth Bale not being scoring enough, not producing? He seems to step up this game now, but at the end of the day, I think for me, Spurs are just having a bit of a slip for me at the minute. I still think Horsey found a way in my book, but do you think Chelsea get you back in the top four?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Am I Jose in? Am I Jose out? I would say I'm neither at this moment in time. Jose has only been brought into the club to get short-term success. He's not a long-term, manager for the team. And if he doesn't win us anything or get us into the top four, would that be, down as a failure? I would say yes. Is it all his fault? The answer, in my opinion, which is not every Spurs fan opinion, is no. I think it has a lot to do with the players as well as the manager, whether they don't want to play the way he likes to play, because everyone says he's boring, and plays boring football. Under Jose Mourinho, Spurs have scored over 100 goals since he took over. And so, it's not that defensive when you score that many goals. The issue that we have is our back four. The back four is dangerous to us as opposed to anything else. Leaks goals. We don't have a good centre-back partnership. We haven't got a good right-back, in my opinion. It's where the issue. So our front four and holding players mask over the fact that our back four is so bad. Can we make the top four? 100%, I think. I think us going out of the Europa League will only be beneficial to us this season. And I said that on my show before the Aston Villa game. I said, if we beat Aston Villa, we're within 3 points of Chelsea, and we've got to play Newcastle next. That was my kind of talking point after the Europa League game. And so we beat Aston Villa, and now it's about beating Newcastle, and then hopefully seeing if Chelsea can slip up. If they can, we're level on points and right back in it.
Yeah, absolutely right. The fact at the end of the day, you're coming on to Newcastle on Sunday in good form, and for us sort of thing, we've gone 2 wins out of 20 14 defeats in that time. And Steve Bruce is still in a job, sort of thing. So I'm going to come on to him later on. There's one player in particular, Ndombele, right? The first season, I thought for me, he wasn't that great. But the second season, and especially the horse here, my God, has he improved?
Yeah, 100%. You know, they've tweaked him around in a few different positions. Right now, he's playing in a position that I don't believe suits him that well. He's better when he's box to box, as opposed to now he has to sit in a kind of holding role. The reason for that is because Jose has started playing that front four. So you've got your front three with, you know, a number 10 behind. So therefore you have to have those, in my opinion, those two defensive-minded players. He's not as great in defense, but what he is good at is breaking that defense into attack and playing the balls through to Mora, to Bale, to Kane, and so on. So, yeah, he's been fantastic. You know, actually, funnily enough, I've got my Ndombele shirt on right now.
Hey.
But, you know, he's one of those players where if he can get the ball and he gets a bit of space and he can create that opportunity, he's great. But you know, he's definitely improved under Jose. And I think it was that tough talking attitude that worked well for him. For some players like Dele Alli and Gareth Bale, that doesn't work on them. But for somebody like Ndombele, seems to have worked really well for him. So yeah, pleased for him.
Yeah, because you paid a club record fee for him of something like 62 to 63 million pounds for the player sort of thing. I think Spurs fans must have been worried, thinking he got the wrong player there sort of thing, and I'm trusting him as well sort of thing. I'm just going to go on to the quick comments as well. Leila, she's on about the combined 11. She said, Darlow, Aurea, Lascelles, Alderweireld, Regulion, Hayden, Holwick and Holden Rowe, Almiron, ASM, Kian and Son. Do you know what? If you go and pick players by form, right? Yeah, pretty much. But when I do my combined 11, I just do it on form. And then I got Kev as well, the Celtics, Hanston, Dubak better than Darlow. But other than that, I'll probably agree. Yep, that's fine, fair enough. So at the minute, I mean, you're trying to get back into the top four. You had a good win against Villa last week. And I was going to say, so who's been your player of the season so far? Who's impressed you sort of? I said about Ndombele sort of thing. Who's improved? Who needs to improve? And who's been playing good?
Well, you know, obviously the plaudits are always going to look at Son and Kane, right? You know, for goal and assists as a combined, they are now leading in the all-time Premier League record for a single season. So you can't look beyond them as being the players. But if you're looking for kind of standout players that you wouldn't have seen prior, I think Lucas Moura has been outstanding this season when he's been given the opportunity. I think he's really stepped up, especially, you know, when he came in against Villa, he got man of the match. And he's been the player who's kind of stepped up when some of the fans were on his case a bit more. But you also can't look beyond, you know, Højbjerg either, who's come in for such a low fee at Tottenham and has just been an absolute rock in front of that terrible defence that we have.
Yeah, I do. I have to agree with you. Højbjerg has been outstanding. I mean, he costs, what, £50 million to do. That's equivalent of a couple million pounds. I mean, I think Southampton fans will be absolutely kicking themselves, not allowing to go for such a cheaper fee sort of thing.
Well, especially as we sold back to them, we sold them Kyle Walker-Peters for around £12 million. So, you know, as a net value to us, it's cost around £3 million deal. So it's
You turned out big winners then, didn't you? Yeah. Any bit of cash back is a fantastic use, do you know what I mean? But but yeah, I mean, the fact is, I mean, talking about Pochettino, I know he's gone, but what he's done for that club is absolutely amazing. I mean, first of all, do you think he's a world-class manager? Or, unless it's a world-class manager, unless he wins things, he cannot be classed as world-class. But do you think for you, what he's done for you is after he's done absolutely magnificent?
Yeah, 100%. You know, for me, you know, I've been a Spurs fan for a long time, and you can't look beyond what Pochettino did for Tottenham Hotspur. You know, other clubs will joke the fact that we celebrate getting to a Champions League final, but that run in the Champions League, getting there, you know, everything about it. Okay, you know, we threw it away in the first few minutes by giving away a penalty, but just achieving something like that is outstanding. Is he an outstanding manager? In my opinion, yes. Was he given the right tools to be able to get Tottenham to that level? No. You know, he was given 2 full transfer windows without spending a single penny while we developed and built a new stadium. And I don't believe he could have done much more with the tools that he was given. I feel like he's been given a bit of a stab in the back when they hired Jose, because straight away they gave Jose money to purchase pretty much whoever he liked. And Pochettino wasn't given that free spending reign. And so I can understand if, at PSG, I think he'll do an outstanding job. And I think you will see him at Spurs again in the future, but I don't know when.
Let's hope so, because if I was a Spurs fan, I'd take Pochettino back tomorrow, because what he's done for that club, he totally changed that club. He loves training young players as well. He brings them up, and the guy's just absolutely amazing. I would love to have him at Newcastle United, but not under this ownership. But talk about that, no way. I just got Layla on here as well. I mean, it's just got a question for you, Luke. What is your thoughts on Steve Bruce?
Do you know what? As much as I try, again and again to try and find some positive with Steve Bruce, I just can't. I can't find it. Whether he's playing, a lot of defensive-minded players over attacking players. This season, you have had some injuries. If Callum Wilson wasn't out for so long, I think you'd be well clear of relegation at this moment in time. But he was been an outstanding signing. But I think Steve Bruce out of his depth a little bit. But I don't know. I don't want to be too harsh on him. I kind of blame your owners more than anybody, to be honest. I think Mike Ashley's washed his hands with Newcastle United, and it's a shame, really, because you are a huge club in the Premier League, and you should kind of get the support and backing that you need, really.
Luke, well said, mate. Well said. Fact is, I wanted Steve Bruce out before you wanted in, because I never wanted that guy at my club at all whatsoever. And all the people that comes on my chat to back us up on that one. Yeah. The problem is, right, when Rafa Benitez left the club, we was linked to Enrique Arteta, Patrick Vieira, Steven Gerrard, and they all went to Rafa, got to him and say, "Shall I take the Newcastle job?" And answer that, Rafa told him, "Don't do it. You do not get backed." And he just bolted at the common to us. Steve Bruce was 13th choice for the job. He spoke to Shearer and he said that, "Shall I take the job?" Shearer said no, right? And then after that, he spoke to John Gibson, who's the local journalist for the Chronicle. He's 81 years old, by the way, and he said, "No, don't take it," right? So, because it's a spoiler club, he wanted to do it, sort of thing. So I thought, wow. Before you come on to that question, I'll just read this out very quick because I'm going to lose all the messages. You said about Steve Bruce, this could be murder, but Spurs have been found guilty of not putting names to bed against teams that should be beating this season. I have to agree. Newcastle problems in midfield. They don't have a midfield that can control games. Here, John, hope you're right, mate. Absolutely fine truths. Son versus Magrido. What do you think of Ferdinand's comments? Now, I don't know if you heard of that. Ferdinand's comments talking about Newcastle and defending Mike Ashley again.
Oh, the fans should put their hands in the pockets to pay for players or something. It was something along those lines. Yeah, I think he's an absolute idiot, isn't he, for things like that? He's got a reputation of saying stupid things at the wrong times, and I think it's ridiculous. If Mike Ashley wants to own Newcastle United, he needs to own Newcastle United like he should do. And if he wants to sell, he needs to sell. But he needs to also not be so tight-fisted. I don't like Mike Ashley at the best of times, his business ventures, whatever he does. But it's all a load of rubbish, to be honest. Somebody needs to come in. Someone reputable needs to come in and buy Newcastle United.
Well said, Luke. Well said. Just wish you know I'm not a Newcastle fan. But you know what it is, right? I mean, we as fans, we just travelled the length of the country, right? And we love our club and we get behind the team and we want success. We want to win something, right? And the fact of the matter is, we ain't getting that because you got an owner. He just doesn't seem to care. He said earlier on, he washed his hands off the club and he just wants to see the club rot. That's why he's not sacking Bruce. I mean, the fans want him out. The media wants him out. He's lost the dressing room and he is still backing Steve Bruce because he assured loyalty by not having a go at Ashley like Rafa Benitez has done, right? And we as fans suffer from it yet again.
Yeah, 100%. It is a massive shame. I don't know if this is the right platform to talk about it. I'm going to ask my own question. Do I believe that they should have sanctioned the Saudi deal? My opinion is probably no, but that's not to stop Newcastle United being taken over. It's just, what the country and represents. And, not all of the Middle East. I used to live out there, but that particular region, that I don't believe should have been sanctions, unfortunately. But there should be somebody out there that's willing to purchase Newcastle.
Fair enough, each their own sort of thing, but we're going into arbitration anyway soon, hopefully, but it's there. But it may take place in a couple of weeks' time, may take place in a couple of months' time. But at the end of the day, we need success at the club. We've been suffered for 14 years under this owner, and I'm 51. And the fact of the matter is, I want to see us winning a trophy. And we're not going to get under Mike Ashley soon, unfortunately. It's a shame. But look, in fact, you don't want us to be taken over by the Saudis. That's your opinion. That's fine. I respect that. And what can you do? So I've got Paul here. What's your thoughts on Jose maybe leaving Spurs? That's the first I heard of that.
There's always talk of it. Spurs fans are divided under Jose Mourinho because of, if he was going to play a certain style of football and it worked, then they would have been happy with it short term. But as it's currently not working brilliantly, then some aren't happy. For me, what do I think about him leaving? The question really should be who takes over from Jose Mourinho. You can't go through life sacking everybody when you don't get your own way. We haven't even reached the end of a full Premier League season under Jose Mourinho, as he took over midway through previous season. Then obviously COVID hit and all the rest of it. So in terms of what do I think of him leaving, I don't think he leaves anytime soon. If we don't get top four and lose the Carabao Cup final, there's a potential that he leaves, but I don't think he leaves before the end of the season. Because the question is, who would you get in charge?
This is the thing. I mean, I'm sure Levy will find a couple of them's going to come in, sort of thing. Nagelsmann could be one of them. He's a young manager.
But it's money, isn't it? It's finding the money. Daniel Levy doesn't like to spend money. So is he going to pay Jose Mourinho's £20 million release clause, which it pretty much is? If he sacks him at any point, I'm sure there's something written in that's like, I think it's £20 million or something he has to be paid. Are we going to do that? And then pay to buy out Nagelsmann out of his Leipzig contract? It's tricky, isn't it?
Very tricky, but I just don't think Levy will do that. He's a businessman, do you know what I mean? You're not paying 20 million for letting Jose go. I just cannot say that anytime soon. Mind you, they paid a lot of money for Poch, but I just can't see it do it for Jose. Not chance.
But what they did with Poch was that they paid him and made him go on gardening leave, so it meant he wasn't allowed to take another position whilst he was still being paid his salary from Spurs. So it was to kind of stop him getting paid twice, which you can kind of understand. But Jose is a different kettle of fish. He's probably got all kinds of clauses in his contract.
Yeah, I see what you mean, man. But I think that could be a better thing. But go on gardening leave, have a break from football until PSG came in for him, and that was done. So
exactly.
You know what I mean? I got Paulo. What does this country represent?
Oh dear, I'm not getting involved in politics right now.
Oh no, I'm not.
No,
Move swiftly on. I've got Leila as well. This is a good question, right? This is you got to laugh at this. Luke, what's your thoughts on Joe Linton? 3 goals in 61 games. For me, when you pay £40 million for a striker, right? Would you say it's the striker's fault for the transfer fee?
No, definitely not. But unfortunately, one of those goals was against Spurs, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was a lucky goal as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? But since then, how he scored against Hughes lot, he scored against Sheffield United and Crystal Palace. Other than that, I mean, the guy's 6'2", right? He's got control. He's a big lad, right? His control is absolutely woeful, right? And it's just weak, absolutely weak. It doesn't hold off enough. He's got no awareness at all whatsoever. And our fan base are cussing us out because I keep having a go at Joe Linton saying it's not good enough, yeah? But I'm telling you now, Joe Linton is not good enough to be at this club. And he is absolutely poor. the worst centre forward I've ever seen since I was supporting the club. People think I'm harsh. I'm not. But yeah, go on. What's your thoughts?
Oh, look, you can't find enough words to say, unfortunately, how badly he has done at Newcastle United. Yeah, he's just, unfortunately for him, he's just probably not cut out for this level. I'm unsure exactly which level he might be cut out for. Different players suit different leagues, different players suit different environments. It's just not going to work out for Joel Linton, is it?
Definitely not. And I've been saying it on Twitter as well. I just posted out and said that he's been poor. One of them had a go at us on Twitter a couple of months ago saying that, just don't criticize Joel Linton, just leave him alone. Yeah. So I gave him the stats. Yeah. Well, last week he had something like 15. He lost the battle 15 times. Yeah. One complete pass. Right? No shots on goal. No assists. Right. And then people start to go at us, you know what I mean? I'll just say, you know what? Check his stats out. His stats, it's all there to see. And if you think if he's going to score a hat-trick, come and tell us. If he's going to score twice, come and tell us. This player, I'm sorry, will not make it Newcastle. And Steve Bruce persistently playing him because he cost £40 million.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not good enough for me. Sorry, he is crap. Drop him. John, I'm 58 and I'm still waiting. And John, actually, so-called businessman. He's a good business and sports director, but definitely not for football. He's absolutely clueless. Leila, Luke, question for you: would you take Aarons at Spurs? Aarons at Huddersfield now.
We're talking about Max Aaron, from Norwich, because 100%. Yeah, 100%. I would take him at Spurs. I actually did a show on another Spurs channel the other day. We were talking about defenders that we would sign, and 100%, he would be one of my first choice signings, if possible. He's been linked with Bayern Munich, so it's unlikely, but yeah, 100% I'd purchase him.
I'll tell you what, we got a right back called Emil Kraft, right? And when when players bought him, I'll look for Italian football. I'll watch Serie A. Okay, for me, it's the best league in the world for me. Thing is, right, he used to play for Bologna, right? And then he went to the French club Amiens, right, for £1 million. Yeah, Newcastle bought him for, I think it's £5 million. And all the people have tweeted out and say he is the Swedish Cafu, right? The Swedish Cafu. And you know what? I just sat back just saying, you know what? You carry on saying this. So I just sit back, sort of thing, right? Emil Kraft is on £58,000 a week, right? And I've never seen a right back who is so poor. Cannot tackle, cannot close down, right? Gives the player space, right? And he is absolutely awful, man. If you watch him play, he's absolutely terrible. And anyone can back us up on this one, please. He is Max Aarons, he's levels about him, man. If he's up there, Kraft is down the bottom. He's poor. And people said he's the Swedish Cafu.
Oh, dear.
Oh, man. What an absolute muppets. There are some of them. Unless they've got young Emil Kraft fans out there, I'll tell it straight. There you go. And this is the one. Poor here, John. You're putting the lights on so Joel Linton can see you there ready and waiting. Now, what it is, like, the story about Joel Linton, right, goes on the Four Horsemen show of the tune. Paul Horst the show, right? He's asked us, how much do you think it'd be worth now? And I said, we'd be lucky to get £15 million. And then I got absolutely a mouthful for that, slated for that. And, and that's why it's just taking them together. And look, Joel Linton ain't good enough. Yeah, I'll just give him away on the free, to be fair. And the reason they've done that, during the side, is because they brought that to put two fingers up at Rafa Benitez and actually told Rafa, basically, look, we can spend big when we want to spend big. And that's why he's done it.
Yeah. People can slate you all they like, but surely goals to games ratio speaks for itself, doesn't it? How can your striker score 3 goals in whatever it was, 60 odd games or whatever? It's ridiculous.
Shocking, man. Absolutely shocking. And this is why, I don't know if you knew today that Dwight Gill is going to sign a new 3-year deal. For me, they're preparing for the championship. Because if you're going to sign someone like Dwight Gill on a 3-year deal, you are preparing for the championship, in my eyes, But I want to clear out in Newcastle, whether they stay up or go down. I just want to stay up, obviously. But for me, I cannot understand why they're giving Dwight Gale a 3-year deal.
No.
I just don't understand that. I really don't. That's for me. And Steve Bruce, as hardly picks him, he bigs him up, saying, well, I was going to sign a couple of years ago. And when he comes on, he plays on the left-hand side or right-hand side of the front three. And then all of a sudden, he gets offered a 3-year deal, which is accepted it.
Yeah, it's madness, really, isn't it? Like, how can you give someone that barely plays a game or not as much or as a squad rotation player another 3-year deal? What's he done to prove that he's worth that?
It's ridiculous. I mean, he costs, even if you sign for you, we're not going to get much money for him anyway.
No.
You know what I mean? I don't understand why you give him 3-year deal. Is it because you're going to make some money if you get relegated, or are you going to like use him for the championship?
Yeah. He is a good championship striker, but that's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. But that means to me, Ashley ain't going to spend a penny at all whatsoever, sort of thing. Crazy. I just don't understand it. I've got a good one here as well. Our players are trying to keep COVID distance in every match. Now, if you watched this against Brighton, right, we were absolutely crap, Luke. Honestly, for me, ask you a question. That performance, one shot on target the whole game, right? Does that tells us that the players are really playing for Steve Bruce?
No.
They're down tools that day.
Especially a game against Brighton as well, which could have been or could be a relegation battle in the sense where 3 points in that would have been massive. And yet, Brighton, who are a team who can't really see off teams either, it was a great opportunity, for Newcastle to try and get something out of that game. It's a shame.
Wow. You're right. I mean, he comes out and he said that's the biggest game of the season for Steve Bruce. Right? He said it. No one else said it. He said it. Right? And to go out there and put on a performance like that, because I've done a watch along on my channel with Paul, the team review, and what we witness is absolutely appalling. The worst performance I've seen for a good 3, 4, 5 years. And I've seen some worse. That has to be a worse for being a Newcastle fan. It's almost like watching social distancing football. They don't want to tackle. They don't want to get close enough. They don't want to close them down, right? To me, I just couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
I was horrendous. But I've got Jules again. How can Bruce be a good manager when he has 2 victories in 20? Yeah, he's right. John, I don't believe it's a 3-year deal. Paul, believe what you believe, mate. I know different outlets are saying exactly the same thing. Gale's a good championship player, and Joe Linton's fit to clean the... I won't say the rest of that. I got Lil again. Where would Brighton be if they had Harry Kane?
Do you know what? Brighton don't play bad football. They just can't score goals.
That is the problem. That is their problem. I mean, if you can score goals, they score what? They score 6 past us, 2 3-0s, And I tell you something, right? I just think under Graham Potter, I take Graham Potter tomorrow. I take him all day long.
That's a good idea.
Because I think it'd be decent for Newcastle. And all he'll do is get those players fit. Half their players will not be in the team. John Joshua will not be in there. Jeff Hendrick will not be in that team. Absolutely no way. It'll change everything there. And, if he came in, again, Graham Potter will be interviewing Mike Ashley and Lee Charnley, not them interviewing him. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, I get you.
Hi, John. Didn't know if you're okay again. Hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. Also, subscribe to Luke as well. And he's a great guy. And I've got Paul as well. Worst performance in the 3-4-5 year. It's been the worst I've seen in 50 years. That just sums it up, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I just don't know what to say, man. But going into Sunday's game, I mean, how do you think you're going to do on Sunday? I mean, are you confident going to St. James's Park? You haven't got a good record, really. But
no. Do you know what? I am confident, yeah, because why wouldn't I be against Newcastle? Not everyone said it in the comments. I'm not saying anything that anyone isn't agreeing with. If you look at the teams on paper, Spurs should win this game 3-4-0 easily. Will that happen? Probably not. Just go back to the game that's played at the start of the season. Where we were 1-0 up, tried to hold on to that 1-0 win. You get a penalty in the last minute, it's 1-1. Anything could happen in this game, but I believe, something along the lines of 3-1 Spurs. If we have, depends on which team we play, because following the game against Dinamo Zagreb, whereby we, went out of the Europa League in, outstanding fashion, Jose Mourinho picked a much changed team for the next game, and he said in his press conference that he picked the players that were men as opposed to the other people who could stand up to that defeat and be, effectively sorry for it. So will we see a similar team? Potentially. But should we have enough to beat Newcastle? Yes.
Yeah, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd go out there full of confidence at this moment in time, because we need to exploit that. And yeah, I'll be a confident as well. I'm not confident going into the Sunday game. Definitely not, because they have down tools. They don't want to play for Steve Bruce. They made it absolutely clear. They want him gone. And I can see exactly the same thing on Sunday. They're not going to listen to him. But I've got Graham Potter, knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's going to be top quality this way. He'll manage a big club soon, Graham Potter. I really do. Henrik, the funky chicken. It should be Henrik. He should be effing off the club. I'm probably going to beat Tottenham 2-0 to Spurs. BD, hope you're okay, BD. Do you describe? And he's got John. Where's the sense of give Gale a new contract? Is it to protect the investment or prepare for the championship? I'll just say the latter, if I'm honest with you, because we are going to get relegated. And a lot of people are saying it could be protecting the investment. We're not going to get much for Gale anyway, to be honest with you. To know what I mean? Let's be real about it, because it's just one of those things. And it's a tough one, but I'm dreading for Sunday. I've got Dino Beans again. A lot of teams will be licking their lips or licking their chops before this and us. I hope that changes on Sunday. I love it to happen. We will lose unless the players start to play for us fans. David Ward, first time on my chat, I think. Please subscribe to my channel. I want what Paul J is smoking. Hi, John, mate. How's you doing? I'm absolutely fine. No problems at all. And really, dreading playing Spurs. How are we going to stop Keane, Son, Bell? How are we going to stop them?
Well, do you know what? Here's a prediction for you. I don't think either Son or Bale will start in this game. I've just got a feeling. I think he will go to a similar lineup in which he played against Aston Villa, where he plays Vinicius and Kane as a two up top. And so I think that he's a little bit sick of Gareth Bale after his lackluster performances. But, his performances come in and out, basically. But, how are you going to stop Spurs in general? I don't know. That's going to be the issue for you, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the thing. If he allows us to play football and let us have a real go, we got Graham Jones, assistant coach. I mean, he's the one that came in. When he came in, first game against Everton, we were 2-0. That's down to Graham Jones. We were absolutely magnificent that day. I mean, whether Brighton were poor, but at the end of the day, Everton were poor, sorry. But listen, we've done the business. And then since then, Steve Bruce has told Graham Jones to keep your mouth shut. I'm the manager, you keep your mouth shut, basically. Do you know what I mean? And then since then, Bruce and Jones did not get along. Bruce did not want Graham Jones to be there, right? Let's get it real, Bruce told Graham Jones to F off against Wolves at home, right? And I don't care what anyone say it. It's true. He did tell him to F off fiercely. That needs to be sorted out. Mike Ashley or Lee Charnley don't care about the club. It's noted, right? They just don't care. It's basically saying, I wash your hands off, you do what you want. But at the end of the day, that is not healthy for the club at all whatsoever. So, and I got Layla here. Question for you, Luke. Would you take Connor Roberts from Swansea? I don't know a lot about this guy.
No, I don't know either, to be honest. So we'll skip that question because I don't know enough to be able to say. But I think we need to look further than buying players from the Championship.
Yeah.
Look, Max Aarons is a special talent, and they told him he could stay for another year before his move on to try and get them back into the Premier League. So him for sure, but Connor Roberts, I'm not massive on, to be honest.
I don't know a lot about this guy whatsoever, sort of thing, but I'm sure he's a good player. I got Dylan again. Need to lock Bell, Son Keane in the changing room. Hey, just as an NUSC fan, I got to ask, what's two up top? We don't play two up. Well, we do play two up top in the split striking rule. I don't know what it means. I've got David again. We're more about Potter sometimes, but if we had Bruce's record, he wouldn't be there too more than that. Well, no Premiership manager would take Steve Bruce at all whatsoever. No respect for Jones. Paul Bell's off at the end of the season. It's just a paycheck. In my opinion, I think he wanted to come back to Spurs. I mean, I don't know what you think of it, mate. What do you think? Did he came back just to get first team, or did you think he's just...
Well, so what... This whole interview thing that he did the other day has been blown way out of proportion in my eyes. He still is a Real Madrid player. Of course, he's going to say in an interview, my plan is to go back to Real Madrid, because effectively they still pay his wages. Since then, I've heard reports that they don't even want him back. Spurs don't want to pay the wages. If he was to make a transfer to Spurs, it would have to be on a free transfer, because he is a free transfer next summer. So it would just be a matter of a free transfer, and his wages would have to be reduced all the way down to about 100 grand for him to even be, considered at Spurs in my eyes. So what he said the other day was blown way out of proportion by a lot of people. And as a player who's owned by a club that he's, on loan from, why would he not say that that's where his plan is? Because that's where his plan is, to go back, because there's been no intention from Spurs to make that move permanent at any point.
Nah, I mean, he's on £650,000 a week, which is, wow, that's a lot of money. And this is the way it's going to be. But you're right. I mean, you just got to enjoy him to the end of the season, see what happens then. If he wants to come back, I'm sure he'd take a wage cut. And I've got Paul here. So Bell's coming to Newcastle, in my opinion. Yeah, right. And this question for you, Bell or Saint-Maximin?
Do you know what? That's a very good question, because Saint-Maximin is top class. Bale has more stored away in his locker, but can it be brought out? Not at this moment in time, it doesn't seem. So I'm going to say Saint-Maximin.
Wow. I love ASM, I really do. But he's got all the skills, got all the pace. But if the only thing he needs to work on is his final ball, if he can get the final ball right, I think it'd be absolutely amazing. And also, I want to see him track back as well when he loses the bar. And last season, he would have done that. But this season, for some reason, he hasn't really done it. But it's all on him when he's fit. And it's going to be all on him. He's going to be key player afterwards, because he could be key. But if he steps up alongside Wilson and Miguel Almiron, I think we'll stay up. But that all depends on those three now. The others, then just forget it. We've got Truce here. We need all new owners ASAP. Bruce is the worst manager in the history in the Premier League. The stats backs it up, and 2 wins in 20 is alarming. Wait for this: 10% win rate since December. At any other club, they would have acted and replaced Bruce. No question about that. And Doughty or Kraft,
neither.
ASM has the X factor, lazy in defensor. And I've got Paul Maxi. He likes to go to France a lot during lockdown. I don't even heard that. He's been going back to France during the lockdown, and I think it's a bit naughty, man. Very naughty.
Yeah, definitely. Especially as he did suffer quite a lot from COVID, didn't he? So
yes, he did.
That should be cut out, really, because it's not just because you're a professional footballer means you can do the opposite to everybody else.
I totally agree. And like I said, I want to see him perform now. Forget about going back to France until you keep us up. You keep us up, then you can go back to France for a couple of months if you want, as long as you come back to us at the end of the new season. But the thing is, if they're going to offer ASM some money, I'll be looking at about 50 million for a start, because I could see him going to a decent club, and then it'd be a big star. But the only problem with ASM, he gets quite a few injuries because he's made out of glass, and that's the thing. And I got one. If Luke, would you take Fofana, Sortu, or Anidi at Spurs?
So I wouldn't take all three. If I was to pick one, maybe Ndidi for Spurs. He's a decent kind of holding midfielder player. So yeah, why not? But yeah, Later's got a lot of questions based on all these random players. I like it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's your show at the end of the day. It's not me. It's your show. I got you on there, my friend. You know what I mean? It's all about you. You just enjoy it. And then, Listen, I'm a backstager. You coming on? I got followed 50 million. Jesus, John, 70 million. VSM. Good luck with that. And question for Luke as well, because do you think Mourinho should be sacked? He tends to lose the dressing room at the latter stages of the season, i.e., Chelsea and Man U. We spoke about that, didn't we?
No, I don't think he should be sacked until the end of the season. I think at least you should see how Spurs finish the season. If we win the Carabao Cup, then that's a successful season in the fact that we haven't won any competition in the last 13 years. So why not? But I think also you need to give somebody time. I still don't believe he's been there long enough to be able to do what he needs to do at Spurs. So
sure. Listen, I'm going to give a couple more minutes to go wrap because you're a busy man anyway. I can tell. I've got a question for you as well, Luke. Who's your favourite Tottenham moment as a supporter?
Oh, it's got to be Lucas Moura hat-trick in Amsterdam. I can't look beyond that, to be honest. Getting Spurs to their first ever Champions League final, it was incredible. I remember at the time I lived actually out in the Middle East at that time, and it was about close to 2:00 in the morning. And I said to one of my friends I was living with, I said, "Oh, do you know what? Half time." I said, "I'll switch this off. We're losing, whatever it was, 3-0 to Ajax and aggregate." And I said, "I'm just going to turn the TV off." And they turned around and said, "Nope, just keep watching." And the rest is history, isn't it? Yeah, I can't look beyond that.
Good man. And tell you what, Lucas Moura, he's a legend anyway. No matter what happens, he's a legend.
Yeah.
When he leaves that club, he'll be a legend. And I do like Moura. I have him in my team because he works so hard as well. And I've got Truls here. Have a great evening. Stay safe. And you too as well, Truls. I'll be back on 8:00 tonight on the Four Horsemen of the Toon. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to be in the Champions League as well. I really do. But that's not going to happen under Ashley. Got Duno as well. A shame. It's a shame they did not go all the way to win the trophy. They would have probably deserved it. That Liverpool
just have to blame Moussa Sissoko for giving away a penalty in the first minute, wouldn't we? So
can't be doing that. Can't be doing that at all. Because once you do that, you'll be chasing the game.
That's it.
And got a Tillsman lover. Well, he plays for Leicester City, as you well know. So I was going to say, I just got one more quick one. Then one for you, Luke. Luke, do you not think the game has moved on from Mourinho's style of football? A lot of teams tend to play with the high press without a striker.
Yeah, do you know what? It's an interesting one. Just because the likes of Pep Guardiola and other managers like that like to play a specific style of football, Jurgen Klopp as well, doesn't mean that necessarily the other ways of playing football have died out. It's just about finding ways to adapt against those teams. I do believe that some of Jose Mourinho's style doesn't work. Whether the players don't necessarily get it or want to play it is a different matter. But I don't necessarily believe just like Pep and Klopp is the only way you now play football. You look at Gareth Southgate the other night, the way he plays passing at the back with England, they're just not good enough at it. And we nearly got punished. So, you have to be that specific type of person. And I just don't think that Jose Mourinho could change his style. I don't think it's necessarily outdated, but I suppose you can only look from the results, can't you?
Totally agree, because that's the end of the day. If you've got the manager as well to do so sort of thing, that'd be brilliant. If you can play it from the back and you do it successfully sort of thing, go for it. But
you need to have the players to do it, don't you?
Exactly. And there's one team who tries to do that as well, and that's Arsenal, that team down the road. And Leno's the master of that. And he gets punished quite a few times on that. I mean, Arteta's been get away with murder, but you haven't got the players to do it, though. If you can't do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Simple
as that.
Yeah, exactly. Just one quick one for you, Luke. Would you take half the team of Leicester City?
No.
He loves. I think it's a Leicester. I think Leicester fan. Do you know what I mean? But I won't hold that against it. Do you know what I mean? And do you understand? Horses for courses. True. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up now, but I'm going to give him a couple more minutes as well. First question: did you enjoy coming on my show, Luke?
Oh, mate, loved it. Thank you very much for having me on. Really, really appreciate it. And my thoughts on Newcastle, as I said earlier, are you do need a successful owner. You do need somebody who's willing to put that fire and pride back into Newcastle. And I hope that at some point that happens. I really do.
Fingers crossed, because at the end of the day, right, that's what we need. If we can just stay up, right, get rid of Bruce, start again, right, get a tier over, and then look, at the end of the day, we can just start planning for the future. But until then, as long as the club, then for me, I just don't think he's good enough at all whatsoever. And poor Luke, you're carrying me book. He likes it. And I got what's his name? Layla again. Smichael or Loris?
We'll go with Lloris. He's won a World Cup.
Yeah, he's a World Cup winner, sort of thing. Do says top bloke Luke, and I'm gonna echo that as well, my friend. But tell us where we can find you, Luke.
Yeah, you can find us Rivalry Aside TV on YouTube and on Twitter. Basically, our show is a group of different football fans. So we've got Man United, Liverpool, West Ham, Aston Villa, and Tottenham. Myself, we do weekly shows, weekly watch-alongs, and once weekly Premier League shows where we go through and predict all the games in the Premier League and have a bit of fun with that. So yeah, if you want to come and check it out, you can subscribe to my channel. But first of all, make sure you subscribe to John's channel first, and then come over and subscribe to mine.
You heard the lad first. You heard what you said. Subscribe to my channel first. Subscribe at John Sinclair. And if you can't find put NUFC, and that'll come up. I've got 582 subscribers at the moment in time, and I want to continue northwards as well. And please subscribe to Luke Rivalry Aside TV. He wants his channel to go northwards as well because he's a great lad. And just quick ones. I don't know why, but I love Leicester recruitment and midfield age especially. And then I will do that. Brilliant. Listen, you're going to get yourself a weir, right? And get yourself some tea. And Paul's going to subscribe to your channel as well. I'm going to subscribe to you as well. And listen, thanks so much for coming on. And listen, make sure you come back on again. And it's been fantastic chatting to you, my guy.
You too, mate. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You too. See you soon.